Shane Val,
Here.
Vicki Underwood,
Here.
Susan Maselli,
Here.
Tommy Mariner is here, Jess Ann Cole,
Present.
Tina Daniels,
Here.
Charlotte Johnson,
Here.
Terry Ryan,
Here.
Eddie Taylor.
Here.
Library Regional Director Matthew Jordan,
Here.
Kimberly Birds from Norris,
Here.
Kelly Harris Rocky Top,
Here.
Mariah Webb from Clinton,
Here.
and Daphne Wyndham from Bryson.
Here.
So everyone's here, and I think I counted 42 visitors. A couple little heads I might have missed.
Let the record reflect, we do have a quorum. If you all will join me in prayer, and then we'll ask Ed, if you would, to lead us in the pledge. Heavenly Father, we come to you today, Lord, once again, thanking you for all your many blessings, thanking you, Lord, for salvation, Lord, for the opportunity, Father, to serve your people. Please forgive us of our many sins, times, Lord, that we do what we want instead of what you would have us to do in each and every part of our lives, each and every part of our business. Lord, we ask that you be with us today during this meeting. Be with each heart, each mind, Father, as we discuss the business that affects your people. All this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, members. Next item on the agenda is the appearance of citizens. We would ask.
Could I say something right quick?
Go ahead.
Let's all be respectful, and let's all try to be sensible about what we say. Let's don't be having no outbursts, rude comments, and carrying on, because this just isn't. It doesn't show respect for anybody in the audience and the board members here or the libraries. So if we could please do that, it would be greatly appreciated. All right? Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
I just want to throw that in there.
That's all right. We'll go by the order of the sign-in sheet. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We were going to limit this to 3 minutes per speaker in order to try to get everybody in on the list and try to be respectful of everybody else. Please limit your comments to those 3 minutes or even shorter if you can. Please be considerate, and if you've heard someone say what you were going to say, take that into consideration before you stand up and take the time. We are going to try to make that as close to 30 minutes as we possibly can. We do have an agenda that we still have to get to and conduct the business. As Eddie commented, and he said what I was going to say, please let's keep this civil. We don't have to agree with everybody, but at the same time, it's just good manners to be respectful. If there are any type of outburst like there was at the last meeting, we're going to have to take some kind of action to quell that misbehavior. So please, let's just not do that. We want to be fair and respectful and nice to everybody, those that agree and those that have opposing opinions. So we will start at the top of the list, and the first one will be Ned Ferguson, if you want to make your way to the podium. Also, we have gotten an opinion from the law director. You do not have to state your street address, just your name and the city where you reside will be adequate. Go ahead, sir.
Ned Ferguson, 205 Lamar Avenue, Clinton. May I begin?
Yes, sir. Go
The
ahead.
question has been asked, why are we revisiting the issue of offensive books again? That was supposed to be settled months ago. It was thought that we had a solution. The answer is simple. Rumors never stop targeting children. They are persistent. They consider indoctrinating children's sexual mores their birthright. Therefore, vigilance is necessary if we are to be serious about protecting the welfare of children. The books that we are discussing are not harmless. They are didactic, and they are intended to teach particular moral and spiritual lessons. Civil magistrates at all levels are tasked by God to reward good and punish evil. The question of good and evil is the fundamental heart of the issue, and it is unavoidable. Is good and evil to be determined by our own wit or will? We defer to a higher authority, one that respects the institution of the family or one that undermines it, one that recognizes the God-given roles and purposes of the sexes or one that subverts them. For Genesis 1:27 states that God created humanity in his own image, distinctly as male and female. Quote, so God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. The Bible tells us what should consume our thoughts. Philippians 4:8 says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. This is a formula for a full, productive, and joyful life. But there are those who wish to turn the thoughts of children toward other things that are not fit to mention, so as to enslave and capture them, to get them on a path that is fraught with physical and emotional peril and heads them toward self-destruction, a life of fruitlessness, because the only way a sodomite can reproduce is to proselytize other sodomites, a life filled with addiction to hormone-altering drugs to force their bodies into an artificial chemical state, costing thousands of dollars each year, potential surgery to achieve an artificial physical state, and likely psychotropic drugs to cope with the incongruity of it all. And we are supposed to be convinced that this is compassion. This is a lie. Don't listen to it. According to Proverbs
30 seconds, sir.
7:4, and excuse me,
30 seconds.
can I finish my last sentence?
Yes, sir. You got 30 seconds is what I was saying.
Okay, I'm sorry. An evildoer listens to wicked lips, and a liar gives ear to a mischievous tongue. This verse tells us that the receiver of a lie is as culpable as the giver. Don't receive the lie. Thank you.
Next is Jason Chandler.
Good
Your name
afternoon.
and city, please.
Good afternoon, Jason Chandler, Clinton, Tennessee. And so after everything from the last meeting, it did come to my attention with us having all the books that are on the list and the mandates that are coming down from on high, or, from the state level and even the national level. Who is responsible if that is not followed through with? So if I sell something and if I have a shop and somebody brings something into my shop and I take it in and I'm not supposed to have it legally and they come through, who's responsible? I am. What is the end result of that? So if they say we need to get rid of these books on a state level or even on a national level, or remove them from children, and we don't, what happens? Does somebody go to jail? Does somebody get fined? Is there an ultimatum? Do this or this happens. I know if I speed through Clinton, especially right now, I have consequences, and I should. But is there something that happens? Or do we just, hey, we shouldn't do this, and then we continue to do it? Or is there because it has been brought up about transparency. That was put on the website about the meeting today, is that we needed transparency. So what would be the answer for that, if you have one? I don't know. I guess that was a question.
I think later on the agenda, we may be answering that question.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
All right. Thanks, sir. Next is Randall Storms. Name and city, please, sir.
Yep, good evening. I'm Randall Storms from Oak Ridge. Appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. First, I want to thank the members of the library board for the time and effort you put into serving our community. Public libraries are one of the most valuable institutions we have. They provide access to knowledge, encourage literacy, and give families a place where children can explore ideas and learn. That mission matters deeply for many of us here. I also want to express my appreciation for the steps the board has taken recently to review materials and ensure that the content available in our libraries, especially in youth sections, is appropriate for children and aligned with the expectations of families who use those spaces. Parents trust that when they bring their kids to the library, the environment and support learning, curiosity, and healthy development. Libraries serve everyone in the community, and because of that, the standards for materials aimed at minors deserve careful thought and oversight. I believe many families are grateful that the board has been willing to listen to the community concerns and take them seriously. That kind of responsiveness builds trust between the public and the institutions meant to serve them. As these discussions continue, I encourage the board to remain thoughtful, steady, and committed to protecting the well-being of children. Public debates around library materials can become heated, but your role is an important one, balancing access to information with responsible stewardship of what is presented to minors. As a Christian, I want to share a passage from God's Word, Luke 17:1 and 2 from the ESV. Jesus says, "Temptations to sin are sure to come, but woe to any through whom they come. It would be better for him if a millstone was hung around his neck and were cast into the sea, than that he should cause one of these little ones to stumble." For many parents in the community, that principle speaks to the seriousness of protecting children and being careful about what influences we place before them. So again, thank you for your service, for the work you are doing. Please continue listening to the community and making decisions that keep our libraries welcoming, educational, and age-appropriate places for families and children. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. His was Randall Storms. Next, we have Avery Chandler. Please state your name and city, please, sir.
Avery Chandler, Flint, Tennessee. I want to thank the library board for letting us speak, for one. I'm a sixth generation resident of Anderson County. I was born and raised here. I grew up going to the Clinton Library on a weekly basis with my brothers and sisters. It was said somewhere that in 20 years from now, the thing that'll change you the most are the people you meet and the books you read. That's certainly true of me. The library had a great impact on me. But it has come to my attention now that we have perversion on the shelves for young children. And not just any kind of perversion, sexual perversion designed to disrupt a society. A family is the basic building block of society. And when you introduce sexual perversion like sodomy and pagan monosexual acts like masturbation and any kind of fornication to children, it degrades the family society. Anderson County, we are a Christian county. We are a Christian county and a Christian state and a Christian nation. Christ is king over this nation and this county. And our civil leaders, you guys, have a duty not only to us, but to Almighty God, the God of the Bible, to uphold moral Christian principles in this county. And we thank you for your efforts in that. And this is my exhortation to keep pushing further in that, because Christ is Lord. And don't give ear to the sodomites and the pagan Satan worshipers.
Hey, guys, I've done warned you. Please don't do that. The man has a right to speak whether you agree with what he's saying or not. And if you are signed up, you'll have the same right to speak your way, okay? Now please don't do that anymore. Please.
Thank you. These pagan behaviors are designed to pervert your children and our children, the next generation of this society, or of this county, because sodomites by definition cannot produce children, so they have to come after yours. I'm asking the library board to especially consider getting rid of this horrible material, because Christ is Lord here, and you owe your obedience to Christ first and then to us. And then to all who disagree with me, I would urge you, Christ is Lord, and there is forgiveness only in King Jesus. Forgiveness of sins can only be found in Jesus. There is hope for you today if you're a sodomite. There is hope for you today if you're a lesbian. But he calls every man everywhere and every woman everywhere to repent, turn from their wickedness, and turn to King Jesus. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Next is Heather Wilson. Please state your name and city, please.
Thank you to the board. My name is Heather Wilson, Clinton, Tennessee. And I really liked what Avery said about going to the library as a child, because I raised my 4 children in Oak Ridge. And we went to the Oak Ridge Library, but now that I'm here in Clinton, I love the library. I'm a longtime resident of Anderson County. When pursuing my master's in elementary teaching at UTK in 1993, I was reading with a small group of students. A young boy about the age of 8 was reading aloud, and the story told of a child who went to a doctor. In the story, she was referred to as she. The illustration supported the text, showing a feminine image dressed in a doctor's coat with a stethoscope. The young boy, the reader, looked up from his text and, utterly confused, said, "Hey, girls can't be doctors." I know that this would not happen with any of my students today. The past 33 years have brought wonderful changes to our societal norms. Children's books depict women in a multitude of roles as doctors, lawyers, scientists, and political leaders. Access to portrayals like these help little girls and boys see that women have equality and are capable of pursuing their dreams. Folks, there is no argument that this is the United States of America, where it's for the people, by the people, which that in this nation, the LGBTQ plus people don't deserve, there's no argument that they don't deserve the same representation as everybody else. I know that many of you are thinking, no, we are not going to have that here. But I know, and you know, that we have that here, and that we have had that here. Our community is a thriving community made up of families that have gay or lesbian parents, grandparents, aunties, and uncles. These families deserve to be represented in literature that is available in their public library, which their tax dollars fund. I urge you to put your personal fears aside and not pull the books from our shelves simply because they allow my fellow citizens, my friends, my family, and my children to be seen and supported just as they are. I know that the people of Anderson County will come together and choose to support their fellow citizens, not force them to the sidelines. I hope that when my child, my grandchild now,
30 seconds, ma'am.
checks out a book on astronaut Sally Ride, that they can read that she was the first woman in space and that she was also a lesbian who was in a loving relationship with her partner for 30 years. I want them to understand that the LGBTQ plus people are part of our community and our history, and they deserve to be represented in our library in the books. Thank you.
Elijah Bird, I think. Your name and city, please, sir.
Hi there, my name is Elijah Bird, and I'm a resident of Norris. I am an employee of the Clinton Public Library, but I am not here as a representative of the library, the county government, or anyone else. I am speaking as a resident, a patron of the libraries, and an individual who wishes to have his community have fair representation for its voice, and at the moment, I do not feel that has happened. The past several months, I've been witness to and been informed of numerous and broad spectrums of what I would consider unethical behavior from numerous board members. Intimidation tactics, publicly disparaging comments about library staff, blatant ignorance of policy and procedure, and probable violations of legislation that is meant to protect transparency and openness with the public. All of this is done in the name of doing what some board members feel is right. The values I was raised with do not accept this as the way that things should be done. I was told that you hold yourself accountable for doing things the right way, because it's more important for you to do right than it is for you to be right. I'm concerned by trustees filing book challenges together outside of board members or board meetings, which is almost certainly not in compliance with the Tennessee Open Meetings Act legislation. What's more concerning, these trustees stated and signed on the document that they were not familiar with the Anderson County Library Board Collection Development Policy, which is the policy by which books are judged to be appropriate for the library, how they are categorized, and the process by which they are contested. This has been central to every board meeting in recent history. To not know it and understand it is an immense disservice to the community you are meant to represent. I'm concerned that board members and directors have been told that only Chairman Val is able to speak with media concerning library business. In spite of this, a recent radio program clearly stated that a member of the board reached out to the radio's host concerning concerns over a book. The next day, Chairman Val and County Commissioner Isbell both appeared on the program together, supporting this and voicing numerous personal statements concerning their views on library staff and ethics, and did not address that a trustee had broken this supposed policy. On researching this, I've not been able to locate any library staff policy, library board bylaw, or Anderson County government policy that states a limitation on speaking with the media, which speaks strongly of attempting to restrict others of the right of speech. I'm concerned that a library board trustee has threatened to have library staff fired for insubordination, for stating that they weren't comfortable providing their last name, which is fully in their rights to reviews as an employee. The trustee stated, I do the hiring and the firing, despite board trustees not being directly involved in either process. And it required a call to county HR office to inform them that their actions were not called for. There are more incidents and issues that have
20 seconds, sir.
But all this adds together to paint an unpleasant picture of board actions, and the fact that in spite of them being brought up prior to the last meeting, there have not been attempts to correct them. You're meant to represent our community and give all its members a voice. And I don't know if you feel that this reflects the community you represent, but it's not the one I see around me, and it's not the one I'm a part of.
That's your time, sir. Thank you. Janice Lane? No? Okay. Josh Jones? Your name and city, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Joshua Jones, Clinton, Tennessee. I wanted to thank everybody from the library board for letting me come speak tonight. I also want to thank everybody for last month helping point me in the right direction of finding the collection development policy Mr. Byrd just mentioned a minute ago, and I had a chance to read it this past month. I want to take a few minutes just to read the collection development policy in the places that I found helpful, not to cherry pick, but just to notice some things that I saw. So first off, about 3 pages of policy. I read policies almost every day for my job at work, and I usually read policies between 30 and 300 pages. This is really nice, so thanks for the brevity. A couple of things that pointed out in the criteria for selection section, public demand and relevance to the community interests and needs, professional reviews, content, authority, and effectiveness or presentation. That's just in the first page bullet points. There's some other ones, physical limitations, budgetary considerations, all that good stuff. Nothing that anybody would find weird. You got formats, gifts, collection evaluation, reconsideration policy, which takes up most of page 3. And then I started reading a little bit further, and I was like, okay, we got a form for collection development policy, but it's a 22-page document. And what I found interesting in the policy is that of the actual policy itself that is part of the Anderson County Library Board's policy written by Anderson County Library is 3 pages. And then the other, 17 plus pages of the document is part of the ALA Library Bill of Rights and subsequent documents that the ALA has produced. I went back and looked through the policy again to check, and I noticed on page 3, under the reconsideration section, and I'll quote this section, it says, the Anderson County Library Board endorses and agrees to abide by the American Library Association's Library Bill of Rights and related statements. See appendices A through G. So, like I said, I read policies a lot, and a policy is an appeal to an authority. Policies are usually made by boards or governing bodies to state specifics about how these kinds of things are supposed to be run. So the way that I see it, not only are the 3 pages of the collection development policy an authoritative structure for this body, but also the ALA Library Bill of Rights and subsequent documents. Reading through those—
30 seconds, sir.
Yes, sir. Reading through those, I found one that was specifically about interpretation of the Library Bill of Rights for minors. I don't have a specific amount of time to go into that with the 30 seconds I have left. I just want to say I would request the library board review all of the ALA content and the rest of the board policy, have a discussion on it, and look at the authority. As a Christian, I'm under God's authority, but I also believe that in Scripture, God teaches that authority is given to the government. So look at that.
Gloria Heffron. Name and city, please, ma'am.
My name is Gloria Heffron. I live in Norris, and I'm not here to speak tonight so much as to ask questions. I'd like some clarity on some policies of the library board it was mentioned at the last meeting that the directors are now required to submit to, I'm assuming, all board members, the books that they are requesting to either be approved or denied for purchase. My question is, do those lists go to all the board members? And what is the protocol in place and the list of criteria that those books are judged on?
That may be something that one of the librarians may be able to answer for you.
I think the
After
board
the-
should be able to answer that if they're enforcing this, and it is their specific rule that the directors submit the list of books for approval or denial.
Okay, this is cutting into your 3 minutes, if you'd like for us to go ahead and answer. The reason I said that was I was wanting to give you your 3 minutes to be able to continue
No, I
to
want to
speak.
hear from the board.
Okay,
Each
so they
one
sent-
specifically.
No, ma'am, we don't have time for that.
Well,
I'll,
let's take 3 members, and then next month, I'll take the next 3.
you're at 1:30 now, if
But
someone would like to
before
go
we
ahead.
get into that, I would also like, if it is possible for a citizen to request that the county attorney be present at the next board meeting for questions that you might not be able to answer as pertaining to laws surrounding these issues. Does anybody know?
If we can ask the county attorney to be present at the next
Yes.
meeting?
So we can ask questions on what is lawful and what isn't pertaining to policies and procedures.
We had the previous county attorney at a number of meetings.
Jay.
Yeah, from 23 through 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can certainly ask him to do that, and of course, any citizen can also call the law director's office
And make an
at any
appointment.
time, and I'm sure he'd be more than
But I would like
happy.
to have him as at a forum.
30 seconds.
So, we'll get to the next process or next discussion of this next month.
Okay, thank you,
And in
ma'am.
the meantime, I'll request the county attorney be present.
Thank you, ma'am. Donna Maloney? Your name and city, please, ma'am.
I'm Donna Maloney, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I spoke last month at the Anderson County Commission meeting about my concern that this board is overstepping its responsibilities by performing duties that should be under the library director's purview. I have since found the State of Tennessee Library Trustee Manual, the Anderson County Library Board bylaws, and the Secretary of State's comparison of local library trustees, directors, and friends. I would like to share what I found. First, as quoted in the Secretary of State's document, the role of trustees is to stand outside the active program of the institution, delegating to a director the administrative responsibilities. You are a policy-making board. You have no business telling the directors how to execute that policy. In fact, according to the state trustee manual, you can be held legally liable for acts in excess of your authority. For example, giving a staff member an order wanting to examine the circulation records of an employee or a customer. Second, the state manual endorses the American Library Association's Library Bill of Rights, Freedom to Read Statement, and Freedom to View Statement. I would like to share Section 2 of the Bill of Rights. Libraries should provide materials and information presenting all points of view on current and historical issues. Materials should not be proscribed or removed because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval. Finally, you serve a public trust. You have an obligation to follow the standards set forth in these documents. It is not acceptable for you to interfere with the judgment and duties performed by the librarians and their staff as they execute the policies that you have put in place. As far as the Secretary of State's letter goes, I ask that you consult the county attorney, create a policy, and trust it will be carried out by the professional staff who are, by the way, highly educated, extremely talented, and we are all lucky to have them.
Sasha Splain. Your name and city, please, ma'am.
Saskia Splain, Oak Ridge. I am a parent of twin 4-year-olds. I don't have prepared comments, so this might be a little rambly. I apologize. I am a parent of twin 4-year-olds, which is why I don't have a prepared comment. We go to the library every week. We read up to upwards of 15 books a day with my children. My Libby account is a lot. I am an avid reader. I am raising avid readers. I am raising children who ask questions, which is awesome. I love kids who ask questions. I love kids who come up to me and ask me for a book that may not be appropriate for them yet. My son, this past week, he grabbed Hatchet off the shelf. Again, not quite 4. Yeah. Guess what? We're not allowing him to read Hatchet yet, because he's not quite 4. And so I said to him, you know what? That's a great book. We're not reading it yet, because you're not old enough yet. It has some themes in it that you're not ready for. But when you're ready, you can read that book. Y'all, it's not that hard. It really is not that hard. So when I say to you all that if my kid, if they're a teenager and they pick up a book like the one read at our public meeting last month, and they're a teenager and they have some questions for me, you better bet I will be there to answer those questions. But it's also a YA book, so like my 4-year-old's not checking it out because I'm paying attention to what they're checking out. It's not that hard. My children should have access to read whatever they want to read with parental discretion. Our librarians are doing a fantastic job. I have not ever picked up a book in the library that I did not feel was appropriate, so I don't know what some of these folks are doing who are saying there's stuff that is not appropriate, because I'm sorry, have you been in our libraries? Because we have some fantastic books. And again, if you don't want your kid to read a particular book, you say no. Or, hey, I'm gonna read that first and then we'll read it together. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Let parent, let librarians do their job. That's all I got.
Rhiann Snyder. Name and city, please.
My name is Ryan Snyder. I live in Clinton, Tennessee. I'd like to address some of the comments that have been made today using some very heated language that brings up ideas of our children being violated by books. I've raised quite a few children, not all of them my own. As a foster parent, I have seen many children come into my home who have been violated. None of them were violated by a book. I have had children come into my home that were very traumatized because they weren't allowed to be who they are. Books did not make them who they are. They are who they are, and denying them that causes extreme mental health problems and depression. I'm sure we can all agree that we don't want children to suffer from those things. So the psychological damage done to children by not allowing them to understand that they are not alone in who they are is incredibly important. Aside from that, I would like to say, I think many of us disagree with products that we find on the shelf at Walmart. I don't let my kids eat red number 40. It makes my kids hyper. I'm not going to go to the board of directors at Walmart and demand that they take everything off their shelf because it doesn't work for my family. Why not? Because I'm an adult and I'm a parent, and my kids don't go to the grocery store without me. So I'm capable of going to the grocery store with my children, and when they ask for something that goes against what we've decided is best for them, we say, no, we're not putting that in our cart. We don't demand that Walmart take it off their shelves. We can do the same thing for the library. If you read a book and deem it to be inappropriate for your child, whether because of their age or because of the material, you have the responsibility as their parent to not let them read it. You don't have the responsibility or the authority to demand that every parent make the same decision for their child. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am. Ann Walsh. Name and city, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Ann Walsh, and I reside in Oak Ridge. And I was raised in Oak Ridge, and I enjoyed going to the library as a child. And I've raised 3 children, and now I'm a grandmother of 3. And we enjoy going to the library, maybe not weekly, but probably on a monthly basis. And it's just been a big part of our life. But I get truly upset when I think that the library is not going to be representative of all the people in our community, of all religions. We have so many different religions in our community, people that go to different churches and synagogue. So I think the library should definitely be representative of people of all faith expressions. And I think it speaks to, if we don't honor that, then it's a breach of the separation of church and state, which is in our Constitution. And I also, I want, all the children to be represented as well, LGBTQIA+. I want them all to be represented. And I was at the last meeting, and one of the things that really sparked my interest, maybe it did you as well, was the dramatic reading from a book called Queer Ducks. Because I kind of left the meeting, I'm going, that was one heck of a book for a 5-year-old. Woo! What was that about? So I looked it up because I was curious. And that book is actually meant for young adults. Even if a 5-year-old picked it up, I doubt that they would be able to read it. I don't know a lot of 5-year-olds that read really well. I think they're just beginning to read at 5. So that book is not intended for a 5-year-old. It is a YA book. It is actually a Prince Honor Award-winning book by an author. It's a teenage-friendly book, Prince Honor young adult book, filled with comics and humor and accessible science, and it's filled with research on the diversity of sexual behavior
30 seconds, ma'am.
in the animal world. So in sharp and witty prose, aided by humorous comics, it uses science, history, anthropology, and sociology to illustrate the diversity of sexual behavior in the animal world. Interviews with researchers in the field offer additional insights for readers. So I think that's a book that my older kids would enjoy.
That's your time, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Plumie Granado. Name and city, please.
Plumie Granado, Norris, Tennessee. First of all, there's a lot of talk in the past and some, maybe even tonight, about the fact that people, are supporting and respect our librarians, implying that those of us who disagree with the books some of the books in the library, do not support librarians. That is not true. This is not personal. We have nothing against any of these people. What we do have is a fundamental difference of opinion and ideas. And so it's, you know, I'd like that kind of thing to kind of stop if at all possible. The other thing is, there is an understanding that we must have that they work for us, for the county. And because of that, they're accountable to the people of this county. Now, we don't all agree on some of these books, and I understand that. But we do live in a democracy, and we do live in a place where majority rules. As people have said, we are primarily a conservative Christian county. And for a lot of us, those books are very offensive in that they are promoting behavior that, in our opinion, is not good for young people, to promote sexual behavior at certain ages. And kids can get a hold of these books if they're on the shelves. And yes, I have been in the libraries. I have looked at these books because I want to know what's all the fuss about. And some of this stuff is horribly graphic, and I don't feel that it's appropriate, and that is my right to feel that way. And regardless of what a person's job is, their education or anything else does not mean you're always right all the time on everything. Whether you're a nurse, a doctor, a librarian, I don't care what your education is, and people can do studies and they can come out in different ways. So just because somebody's educated in a certain field, or that other people have done their research and they've gotten what they wanted out of the research, doesn't mean that everyone's going to agree with that or that they alone
30 seconds,
are correct. One last thing, I was there in that library when an employee was asked their name. There was no threatening of that employee. The employee instead chose not to give their name. The library board are their supervisors. If a supervisor had come to me as a nurse, asked my name, and I said, I don't want to tell you my name, I'm not comfortable.
That's your time, ma'am.
I wouldn't have that job.
Thank you. Samantha Sheehy. Please state your name and city, please.
Hello, my name is Samantha Sheehy, and I live in Norris, Tennessee. Have almost all my life. I would like to start out by saying that I appreciate that all of you are volunteering your time. You're not getting a huge salary for doing this, and I appreciate it. And I know it's hard. I also appreciate our librarians. I know that they spend a lot of time learning how to do their job, and they do an excellent job. I am highly disturbed by the censoring that is going on by this board of books and information. There are so many different types of people in the world. There's so many different types of people in this community, and they should be represented. And doing these things that you're doing is not representing them. It's not. Information is important. It helps people to see who they are. Homosexuality, transgenderism, whatever your problem is, has been in existence in this world from the beginning. It is nothing new. It is across almost all animal species. I speak this as a biologist. It's across all animal species. This is not new. And different cultures have dealt with it in different ways and respected it in different ways, or not respected it, as the case may be. but I find it highly disturbing that we're trying to censor this. I liken it to something that happened when my daughter was younger. There was a classmate that I believe suffered from anorexia or bulimia or some other sort of eating disorder. It came to my attention. I brought it to the authorities' attention so that they could speak to a parent about it. There are books in the library that have information about these conditions that kids can read and learn about. It doesn't make them all go and decide and do that. It just helps them recognize
30 seconds,
what's
ma'am.
going on. Okay? These books are not indoctrinating. This information is, it's better to have the correct information. Thank you.
Will Templeton. Please state your name and city, please, sir.
Sir. Will Templeton, Clinton, Tennessee. I just want to thank the library board, and I want to thank you for the work that you do. Appreciate you allowing us to come up here and speak. It's one of the things I love about our country is that we can all come up here and say our piece, and we elect officials to do the governing for us, but at the end of the day, as has been said, it is a government by the people. And I want to quote one of the founders of that government. John Quincy Adams said, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." It is not whether we will subscribe to a moral system in our country, but which moral system we will subscribe to in our country, in our state, and in our county. The separation of church and state was not created to say that the church has no place in speaking to the matter of church governments. It was created to prevent a national church-specific denomination where state-sponsored denominations were already in place. I want to address some of the comments I've heard tonight. You do serve a public trust as members of this board, but you are ultimately beholden to God, not to the public trust, and we will all answer to that God one day. To speak to another comment I heard, Walmart and a government-funded entity like the Clinton Library that we pay for with our tax dollars are not the same. Walmart is a private business that thrives or falls on supply and demand. The government is not optional, and it has the responsibility to reward the good and to punish evil. I do not want my tax dollars going to child grooming and indoctrination. To address another comment, homosexuality was not here from the beginning. In the beginning, God created the male and female in the image of God. Men cannot become women, and women cannot become men. Teaching children that this is not only possible but admirable is to turn the truth on its head, to call evil good and good evil, to cause harm to children, and ultimately to give them over to an ideology without hope. The self-harm and suicide rates among the LGBTQ community is staggering. There is a difference between government overreach and government officials doing what they can in their jurisdiction to condemn evil and reward good, particularly to those who are vulnerable. Please consider that Jesus was hardest on those in the community who held leadership positions over those that were needy. Jesus wept over Jerusalem,
30 seconds, sir.
the city that had become disobedient to God, and described them as sheep without a shepherd. They were without leadership, leading them from evil, away from good and toward evil. The role of governing bodies is clear in Scripture, to reward the good and to punish evil. Members of the library board do not assist in the targeting of children in wolfish ideologies that will eat them alive. Remember that you will be held accountable before God for the choices you make. One day, every knee will bow.
That's your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is everyone on the sign-up list. That ends the appearance of citizens portion. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add two things to the agenda. I'd like you to appoint two committees, a budget committee and a policy committee. A budget committee because we're dealing with some issues, and a policy committee because we're supposed to review our policy every 3 years, and it's been 4. So if you could appoint, my suggestion is a 3-member committee, but if you'd add that on there.
So we'll add that under new business. B, budget committee, C, policy committee. Anything else?
Also, can I add something to the, new business?
Okay.
I would like to see about appointing a said person to, now, Tommy, you do a great job, and so don't read into this. Have someone take the minutes, keep up with what goes on in here, because he is trying to remember everything everybody's saying, and I just feel like sometimes he may get out of the loop for things. And I think if we could see about, I don't know who we would get or how we would go about doing it, have somebody take the minutes and keep up with what all's going on in these meetings.
All right, that'll be new business D.
And also, possibly an executive director. If that wasn't already on there.
New business E. Okay. Anything else to add to the agenda? If not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'd make the motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
I have some questions about the minutes. I'm on page 2 of the 5-page minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Towards the bottom, I want to explain what happened about the evaluations. I'm not going to go sentence by sentence, but what actually happened is Vicky's got us on target with our paperwork, but then I asked the HR director what he would recommend, and he recommended that each board member evaluate every librarian. But instead of getting into all that, we just decided that I would bring the information, and I did, but in the meantime, Shane has a call into him, and we're gonna have some training. But this stuff like, it would help new trustees, I don't remember all of that. Basically, it was that I said that there was some new information about doing the evaluations, and that we would discuss that. And it wasn't 2 at a time visiting, it was just one person, 2 libraries each 6 months. But anyway, I think that he
Yeah, I think that's what I said, evaluated by 2 directors twice each year. So that's,
each director would do each library, and we would do 2.
right,
then
and that was a second thing I put on here too.
Okay, well, let's move on. Then, under there, it says, something about, YA and children's are now juvenile. Maybe there's more about that later, but, YA is not with the adult section. That might be later. YA is with the children's section. Is that what you have?
Yes.
So, the YA books are not part of the adult section. Okay, then, wait a minute, I'm
And
on.
that's, the suggestion there was that we add children above
Yes.
YA, children above juvenile.
I thought that was
And each
great.
one of the libraries is arranged a little bit different, so they'll have to figure out that.
Okay, I skipped something on page 1. It was, someone objected to not being allowed to speak, and Chairman Val ignored that person. Actually,
Okay.
what happened was, there was a sign up, and he kept saying, anybody else want to sign up, anybody else want to sign up? And then a gentleman asked after the sign-up sheet had been taken up. I'm sorry I've got so much.
What,
but
do you
it's-
wanna change the word of ignored?
That would be good, because it was addressed.
Not honored? I don't, cause he didn't let the person speak. And he did let, somebody who hadn't signed up speak.
Would that be our commissioner
Yes.
here? Okay, I think think that was out of respect for his position. I think he probably would also let the mayor speak, and I think that was just out of respect for that, as he also gave him a seat that he probably sits in when it comes to the meetings. So,
I wasn't making a judgment on it, just noting that it happened.
okay. Well,
I guess you don't like the way that I record things
I
happen.
don't think he was rude to the gentleman,
You don't have
which
to
that
put,
was implied.
how about did not recognize?
Did not recognize, that's fine.
Yeah.
Not
Thank you.
recognized, okay?
All right.
That's why I send these things out right after we do it and then the week before, so
You
everybody
know, I
can
so
make
appreciate
their
that.
changes.
I so appreciate that. And I can't imagine trying to take minutes for one of these meetings. But I had so many different things, on here. So, okay, thanks. That's all I got.
I tend to get wordy on that, and we've talked about this before. I tend to get wordy because there are lots of words expressed, and many of them are disagreements.
Sometimes, Tommy, it's the tone.
Absolutely,
Well, for
I'm sure my
instance,
tone gets in there.
Chairman Val says we're gonna stop for a 10-minute break, but we're actually out of the room for 13. I don't think that's really, I don't even know what to say. I mean, I think in the big picture, it doesn't matter, and it is.
You want me to strike that recess lasted from
Sure.
7:05 to 7:19?
That would be
That's fine.
awesome. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Well, I've got a couple as well. The one paragraph, I think you started with a thought and you put a dash in it. And then I think you were trying to explain the thought and then another dash, and then you started explaining again, and I kind of got confused on that. It's about halfway down the page.
Which page?
On page 2, I put the proposal to have only 2 library sections. And I noted what those were, adult and under 18 for minors. I do it again later on. Tennessee categories of library recognize 2 divisions, adults and minors under 18.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the proposal to have only 2 library sections, no. And the plan passed in January. I just got confused on that. I guess the way that it's
How about
worded
how
there.
the proposal to have only 2 library sections, adult and under minors, was made,
Okay,
period.
there you go.
And my understanding of that was it was as a way of categorizing, not necessarily a structural reorganization, correct?
Right,
I think that's a distinction we need to make sure is clear on that.
We talked about that when we made, back in January, and the first idea that Shane proposed was just to have 2 sections. And then the idea was amended to have our policies clearly show that there's just 2 sections of the library from the state standpoint of what's legal. And so I'm certainly willing to change any of those words in there.
Well, that particular paragraph just confused me, and when you noted that we did take the 10-minute recess, and I went back and looked at the video, and I guess I wasn't specific on why we were taking the 10-minute recess. The reason we were taking the 10-minute recess was because there was a disruption in the meeting.
Would you like me to add that?
Yeah, I would, thank you, I appreciate that. And then you were very specific on counting the number of speakers, which I thought was commendable, but then when I added them up, when you were dividing it up into how many was speaking on each topic, I think you said there were 13 speakers, but I counted 14 when you broke them down. I didn't know if that was just the math being off, or maybe someone spoke, the same person spoke on 2 different ones, but anyway. Yeah, I'm a little confused on the minutes on that until they are changed, and corrected. I'll be a no vote on these.
Let's see, 6, 3, 2, 1, and 1. That's 13.
And then at the bottom, you have a sentence, I think, where it says one person. Was that included in the 13?
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't a separate
Because
speaker.
when they talked about the funding, they asked about the collection development stuff.
Okay, so that was,
One of the gentlemen was here tonight, I think,
Yeah.
asked that question.
so that was one of the 13, not an additional one that would make it 14. I was saying, that's kind of confusing to me when I read that. But anyway, any further discussion on the minutes?
Carolyn, would it be helpful to Tommy to have it recorded? A voice recorder so that he could
Sure.
write up the minutes from that?
Absolutely, but I think with the advent of.
It's up to
That
you,
one,
Tommy.
it was recorded, and I did go back and look at the recording, before I finished this up. I didn't make a lot of changes.
Oh, okay. I
I
was
haven't-
thinking that
I
would be up
haven't
to him.
viewed
Why take that away from him if it's
I mean,
not
I
an
don't
issue?
mind.
Oh, you're talking on what we're added to the agenda. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that in a little
Oh,
while.
okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. No. We'll have a hand vote. Those in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand, please.
Are we approving them with the amendments we just made, or?
That'll be fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those against? 1, 2, 3.
With the amendments that
Yeah, with the
were being
changes.
made, with the
Yeah.
changes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion fails. The minutes are not approved. So I guess we'll bring them back next month with the changes and look at them then. Treasurer's report.
All right. As of the balance sheet for February, and Tommy, I will get with you with the numbers that you picked up because I can't find those anywhere. But the balance sheet that I have for February shows that the board reserve had over 209,000. That the county is restricting 100,171 of that to be a part of our budget this year. And the funds used to date by the county for our budget is 87,000. So we're really close, excuse me, to using what they thought would be only 100,000. I think they're going to be using more of that. So, Tommy, will you?
Does that leave about a $13,000 margin?
Yeah. And I was upstairs to see Robbie today, but he wasn't there. So I will get with him this week and see if I can clarify this even more.
Will that carry over to next year? I guess that's the budget.
That'd be
Yeah.
a Robbie question for sure.
Yeah, it's a Robbie question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second item I have is that the budgets have all been turned in by the directors, and they were done early, which was very good, but we were given unspecified numbers to work with, and so we were told to just use the numbers that we had last year. So this will be kind of a surprise when we get our budgets back, because we're really not sure what's going on, but we'll work with it. And then I have two requests. I have a Norris transfer budget request, and she's requesting that we move 2008-24 from her data processing line item, and she's going to be using that for communications, postage, book purchases, and other supplies, and that's to cover shortfalls that are coming in on those budget lines. She has the money in that she wants to transfer. There's 3,134 in that account, so taking 2824 is fine. I have no problem with that. So I need a motion on that to approve.
You want to move on that?
I will
Okay.
move. Mhm.
Motion to transfer 2824. Do we have a second? Second by Vicky. Any discussion?
I just have one question with the, that's coming out of the technology,
It's coming out of her data processing.
data processing, so you'll be okay data processing?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, the fiscal year, I was talking with Robbie and people in finance, and actually the Norris budget was input incorrectly, so there's extra funds in that line that were supposed to be in other lines in the first place. So, in addition to Comcast being my mortal and immortal enemy, I'm moving some stuff back into where it was supposed to go.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was from,
From the date,
it was put in the wrong place.
yeah.
So where's
Oh, it's I gave you the sheet so that you've got it too. It's going into communications, postage, book purchases, and other supplies.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay, and then I have an
All right. Any further discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried. Go ahead.
Okay, I have an appropriation from Daphne, Bryceville, I was looking for her. She's hiding behind Lysol.
She is.
Yeah. She is requesting $117 being moved from her local restricted funds into her data processing services. And it's a one-time transfer, and it was to cover unexpected increase in her data processing services. Her balance right now in the local restricted funds is over $19,000, so she can afford the $117 to move. And I'll motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Eddie. Any discussion?
Eddie.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item, unfinished business, employee evaluations.
To my understanding is that the directors have finished their staff evaluations, and we have completed at least 2 board members have evaluated the directors. So that should be completed. It's all been turned in to HR. Am I correct on that?
I haven't finished my staff evaluations yet.
Okay.
I'll be done by the end of the month.
Okay, so,
So
but the
staff,
directors are done, but there's,
all the directors have done all the library?
no, the library directors are completed. The staff evals are completed, all except for Clinton, and that'll be finished by the end of March.
I'm just waiting on the signature.
Yeah.
My stuff, so, yeah.
I'm confused. So they've done their own self-evaluations?
No. Their staff evaluations, they were doing those at the same time we were doing the director evaluations, the trustees doing. The trustees have completed the director evaluations. They've each had 2 trustees.
Okay, all right, okay.
Complete the evaluations.
Got
That's
it, thank you.
completed and in HR. They're still working on,
So staff, so the directors have been evaluated, the staff is still underway?
yeah, it's ongoing and will be completed by the end of the month.
Got it, thank you.
Also, I did email Drew with HR and ask him his availability to meet with us in a workshop or something to go over HR's suggestions on how to do evaluations. So, and I think I asked him that once before. I think we had a date that conflicted with his schedule, and then he offered me a date, and I think I forgot to bring it up at the next meeting about when we were available for it. So obviously we've got to get these done, and I understand that, but at some point I think it would benefit everybody to have that. Any further discussion on employee evaluations? All right, moving on to book reviews for the Secretary of State. Where are we at on that?
Shane, may I make
Go ahead.
a quick statement here? And I think I'm doing this for the benefit and clarification of a lot of people in this room especially the directors, because I've talked to all of them and realized how frustrating it's been for them. But what I have here, and I wrote it out so I'll read it real fast, having books available doesn't mean that we're promoting a book. It's available. The idea, and we're not, the librarians are not trying to promote anything. They have a collection, a wide variety of materials with many varied demands of a diverse population. So we all have to accept that, and that's basically it. The Tennessee State Libraries Association is asking for a simple exercise, not a huge thing that this has turned into. They asked us to review the materials in the junior children's section for age appropriateness, consistent with the Tennessee laws. This is not, this is with the federal executive order of the gender idolatry extremism. And extremism is making a big deal out of it, and they're not. They're providing books, that's it. Not saying that we don't have some books in there that I think we might need to reconsider. That's always something that could happen. But they've gone through their books, they've weeded. They went through this 2 years ago when all the big banned book list was going on. So this should be something easy. The book should be taken out to be reviewed, the small juvenile group. And we're not looking to ban them. We're just looking to make sure they're categorized properly. Does that make sense? That makes sense. The board's offered to help in that process, and I wasn't at that meeting when that was first taken care of, so if I'm wrong with that, please let me know. But my understanding was the board has offered to help in that process and be with the director to help review. And this project should be between the board and the director, and should not include the patrons at this point. If a resident or a patron has books and a list that they're questioning, they need to fill out a reconsideration form like the process we have in place. They shouldn't be a part of the board and the director looking at these specific books right now. We want to get this done. My recommendation was that with the form for the reconsideration, that we attach a collection development policy highlights, which I have put one together. If that's put with the form that we hand out, there won't be anybody that doesn't understand why that book is there or understand how it got put in there. And they can read that before they fill out the form. They may say, oh, I didn't realize that, and be done with it. So it's a consideration that the directors can pick up. And we're not reviewing everybody else's book lists. We're looking at our book lists and our communities. So somebody had one from Rutherford County. That's a school library list. That is not a public library list. And by the way, that county is being sued right now because they've taken the books out. So we need to worry about our stuff, what we have, and turn it in and get this done. That's all we're asking. It shouldn't be more complicated than that.
The effort to take community members with us was because I can't remember how many thousand books Mariah said were in that section. It would be impossible for a couple of people to look at those books. And these were people that had complained and had brought books to our attention.
But we have board members.
Hang on just a second.
I don't think all the board members have been to the libraries to look at the books. And there have been quite a few books pulled. I doubt all of those books will stay pulled. Now,
I understand that.
I mean, I think that there will have to be some way to list those books and have the board be able to look at those books, I'm sure I'm gonna cross some of them off. I saw some of them when I was in the library that I thought, really? So, and so Shane's gonna help us with the process on how to do that. But the effort to bring community in was just transparency. I mean, there are no secrets here. I mean, if we're pulling one off, we're pulling one off. It was just to have some help. I don't know why that would have been a problem.
I think it's a problem because I think the directors want to work with what they have and the board member, and I think they need to come to a decision between them. They work together. We don't need everybody else in there with their opinions right now.
It really didn't feel like we were working together.
Okay. Okay, and I think next time if you're going to a library, I mean, I've been to 3 of the 4 libraries, didn't make it because I know Tommy was at Briceville. You need to pull another board member and force them to come.
I took a board member with me.
Between the 2 board members and your director, I think you can get through them.
10,000.
Do you have 10,000 books?
I have, well, in the entire library, I have 45.
She had 45 books.
45,000.
45,000.
Oh, 45,000. No, in the junior? This is for the junior.
I don't know how many are in there versus in the rest of the library.
Okay, it's the junior children's section. That's all we're being asked to look at.
We were quoted 10,000.
That's probably about right.
Okay.
It's about a quarter of the collection.
Okay.
And we used the Rutherford County list because I asked for the list at the last meeting with Matthew and was told it's on the camera that list, there wasn't a list that I could access.
But see,
so I had no place to go. I can't look at 10,000 books, so I chose that list. And I'm sorry to hear they're in a lawsuit. I don't know how that'll turn out.
Yeah. But it's a school library list. It's not a public library.
No, ma'am. I've talked, it's the local library. I've talked to their chair. It has nothing to do with schools.
Along that question, Tennessee law is pretty clear that the library board has control over the policies. The librarians are the ones that select the books. The other part of the Tennessee law that was, and I was specific, I asked you about the individual thing that you wanted it to apply to, and it was the Tennessee Age Appropriate Materials Act. Those don't apply to public libraries. That whole section of the law, and I put it in our notes to make sure that everybody have a chance to look at that. Those are for school libraries. Now, a lot of what we're hearing today is people that they may have an issue with their church library, but the public libraries represent all of the community. And it is inappropriate for us to start down a road where we are starting to follow Tennessee state law that applies to school libraries. That's not our job.
I don't think you have it right. And please put this in the minutes. I have no problem with my church libraries.
Okay, I don't either. But I do have a problem with when we start trying to put something under an executive order that doesn't apply to us at all. Presidential executive order has nothing to do with what happens in Anderson County. That applies to people who are managing things in the federal government. I was in the United States Navy and I followed executive orders at the time. Last time we were bombing Iranian ships, I was part of the strike group that went out and bombed and sunk the Saham. We weren't allowed to sink the Sabalon, which they got this time. When I came back in the Vietnam era, in my uniform and going through the LA airport, they said, "We don't like you baby killers." Well, I wasn't a baby killer. But a lady looked at me and said, "You know, you smiled when that guy said that." I said, "Yes, because he has the right to say that to me." That's why I was in the military, was so people would have a right to have everything that's been said today and all the books that are in the library, and let the librarians do their job and let us set the policies so they can do their job. But we should not be going in, which I think is making a hostile environment. That was done by commissioners. One of them's here. Helped make
so inappropriate.
Hang on.
people that were in various positions in the county were threatening our librarians. We don't need to go back through that. We sent the sheriff of the county to check out books that the mayor could have gone in and checked out any time, to intimidate librarians. We don't need that. And I think what we're doing with these looks is way beyond, and somebody pointed out in their speaking earlier, way beyond what we should be doing as a library board. I went down by myself and went to 3 of the libraries, haven't been to the Norris one yet, and looked at some of the books that they pulled out in accordance with the direction that they were having to look at things that had something to do with gender. And boy, you get a long list, and I pointed that out, and that's one of the reasons why I put that in the notes, so people could see that there's a lot of different things that are going to get pulled. I don't like a lot of the things I've had to read on the library board, but we set policy. We don't set what's in the library. And they follow our rule to send us a list of the books that they're ordering. And a couple of the books that are on the shelves, they went through that policy of sending them in, and nobody objected to those books on the shelf. So let's stay within our lane and follow the law that actually applies to public library, which is, oh, by the way, the First Amendment.
So to get us back on track, the topic was proceeding on with the letter from Trey Hargett's office. So getting back on that, what we do from here. I do want to say this. Words don't express how much respect and thanks I have for you, Commander, for your service to this country and what you did, what you sacrificed. You did something that I wasn't able to do. I probably never will be, and I admit that. I respect you for the service to our school system, training my sons, teaching my sons. They learned a lot from you. The respect and admiration I have for you, however, doesn't mean that I have to agree with you. My recollection of what brought this up again, and we talked about it in the last meeting last month, and we talked about it in the meeting before that, we're taking, I think, 2 issues and we're marrying them together, and I think maybe they need to be divorced. I think maybe that's going to help us stay focused. The issue that got started 3 years ago with the books, that ended about 1.5 years ago with the proposed policy about the dust covers being on the shelf and the books being behind the counter, and a child only being able to check out the book if their parent was with them. We can have another debate at another time whether or not that policy was being implemented. We would probably have a whole other hour of debate over that, okay? But that policy was implemented 1.5 years ago. In the meantime, we got a letter from the Secretary of State's office that did quote the executive order from the president that said check your libraries and make sure that you don't have any books that dealt with gender ideology in the children's sections. All right? That's what the letter said. During the course of figuring out what we needed to do in order to comply with that letter, so we would not lose state or federal funding, we consulted the law director. I forgot who else, some of you all may have called and consulted. And the law director came back with an opinion from not only the current law director, but the previous law director. In the state of Tennessee, you're either a child or you're an adult. There is no in-betweens. Library systems, Anderson County not being the only one, library systems have a bunch of different sections that still fall under the children's categories. That caused the problem. That's what caused the confusion. That was really what made us try to figure out what's the best way to comply with Trey Hargett's letter. We passed a motion that said there's only children's and adult section of the library, that's it. That, I thought, when we passed that, in addition to the original policy from a year and a half ago, surely to goodness I thought you put those two together and we should be in compliance with Trey Hargett's letter. Library board members, as well as the librarians themselves, were finding books that certainly should be moved at this point in our process. All right. Now, we just went through and we rehashed that whole thing. And that's fine. I mean, we're here to meet, so I understand the discussion. I think it keeps our memory up to date. However, I think the topic that we should discuss tonight is, at this point in the procedure, what do we do next? If the librarians, with the assistance of library board members in some cases, have pulled these books off the shelf that they feel fall under Trey Hargett's categories that he listed, then now the discussion for tonight is, how do we decide if those books that are pulled meet that criteria or not? So I think that's what we need to decide tonight. What's the next step in that process? Vicki?
Matthew sent us a summary of that. You all may not have gotten it because it came a little bit late, but I would encourage us all to go back and review that summary. I thought it really was helpful for me in terms of getting us back in target to what we're supposed to be doing and how to make that happen. I think at this point, I agree with you, Shane, we need to have a closure. We need to have a finish on that process to decide, are we gonna move the books or not move the books? In this summary, they talk about it as a way of looking at the reconsideration, the way you would reconsider any book. In our policy, it has to be from outside that a reconsideration comes in, and then the two board members or two trustees and a director would review it. In the last meeting, I was told, no, that's not our process, that's something totally different. But in this summary, and again, it goes back to the fact that it's basically up to us. We can do the same thing if we want. Now, does that mean we have to read all 50 books that are in each library? No, I think we can look at them and say, okay, this gender book was pulled because of gender, and it's about women in the military. That's not a book that we need to look at. Versus some of the others, there's common sense that can be done with those, but we just need to say, okay, you three people sit down, look at the books in Norris. You three people sit down, look at the books in wherever, and get it done. That's, I think I'm saying what you're saying. Let's just get it done and get it off the shelf.
Could I add to that? I looked at 37 books that had been pulled off of the shelf at either Clinton or Bryceville. And 2 of them needed to be reevaluated. Most of the rest of them were racial theory or something to do with women in the military.
Gender theory.
I want to be an engineer written for a girl instead of a guy. So that think that process will go pretty quick if you simply send one or two people to go look at each place and give a thumbs up or a thumbs down on those books that are in there.
Here-
With the narrowed criteria, because what we're looking for, is that book a pornographic? Does it have pornographic materials? And is it encouraging, though I don't know how anything with the, anyway, I won't go there, but, the transgender issue that I agree has nothing to do with what's in the library, but if there is a book that's saying, oh, you must be, a transgender, you must do this, then I would say that's supporting the ideology of it. If there's a character in a book that has the ability, like in one of the books, that's a fantasy book that shapeshifts, is that supporting transgender identity? No, it's a fantasy. It's talking about
It's
a crazy
fiction.
guy that goes back and forth and does different things, you know.
So that just popped a thought into my head, because we're gonna have,
We're complicated.
we're complicating it, we're gonna have different opinions, each one of us up here, and it's obvious. Each one of us up here is gonna have different opinions on whether this book falls under the criteria or not. So now I'm wondering if picking a 2 or 3 person committee is actually gonna solve the problem. And the last thing that I want to do is have to write a letter to Trey Hargett saying, we still got some issues that we're working through. Once we're done, I would like it to be the whole board that understands we're done and has voted on the decisions that we've made.
I agree with you, and I think, yeah, 1 or 2 people could narrow it to where there may be 2 or 3 books from each library that we have to review as a group, if we need to do that, to get to consolidation. But we need to narrow our focus to what he's asking.
And I
Because
think-
essentially we have done what he's asked. They have gone through, they've picked out the books, they've removed them. You know, how they got in the library to begin with, I think we can worry about that all day, but the fact is, the process is there, and move forward with it. We're just,
Susan?
We got to trust our directors. They know what they order. They know the parameters. Let them pick the books that they think that we might have to review, and then the 2 people from Norris will go to Norris and go through those books that they have chosen. The 2 people from Rocky Top will go to Rocky Top and go through the books that Kelly has put out. I mean, that we're giving them, they know more about what they're doing than we do. So we've got to trust them to pull the books that they think might be something we need to reconsider from their catalogs, and each group take care of their library, come back next month and say, we're done, or this book has to be reviewed, or whatever. I don't think we have to do a reconsideration of any books. We just need to categorize them.
I'm fine with that as long as we just move with it.
Yeah.
You know, do something with it. But I don't like just voting on a book we haven't even looked at. And that's what we did last time. I was talking about books that none of us have really looked at. We're just making blatant statements about it. And I don't think that's the right way to go about it either. We need to actually, at least somebody from the trustee board needs to take that responsibility. I like the idea of seeing Clinton go to Clinton, Rocky Top, and Riceville would have 2 people from the county basis for Riceville for those books. I like that.
Just saying.
I think that would be simpler, but I also think every board member has a responsibility to have input into this and an opportunity.
Well, once we've narrowed it down, then that's when the opportunity can come to it.
I feel like it is narrowed down. I've been to every library and they all have a cart of books that they've pulled.
50 books, and some of them don't need to be on there, from what I've seen.
I agree.
And what you've said. So let's go and let's go and say, okay, Jess Ann, I'll be in Clinton, and let's narrow those down and pick out the books
put the other books back. And put the other books
Terry.
back.
Put the other books back and get
And bring your microphone down this. There you go.
So all the librarians have run and pulled their books.
Yeah.
So they all have a list.
Mm-hmm.
If they could all provide us the books already, they can type it up, whatever, send us the list of books they have pulled. A lot of them will be in common. There's a lot of books that are very popular that all the Shapeshifter one, it's a very popular set. All the libraries have it. So it's not 50 books at this library, 50 books at this library, 50. It's a much smaller number.
Okay.
So it's not going to be that big thing. And if we have some idea, you can research it before you even go to the library and then read the section that it talks about and all that. You can prepare yourself ahead of time than sitting with a stack of 50 books and trying to flip through it and figure it out.
So you want to put them sending the list out to each board member in the form of a motion?
I guess, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Jess Ann. Any further discussion? That's a good idea.
Yes, I would like, can you give me the number of books, Daphne, that y'all have a price for?
0.
How many you pulled?
I think when you were there, we pulled 11.
I think we looked at 11 and then you put them back on the shelves, right? Cause it wouldn't, okay, but there were 11 and you still have a list of that. And Clinton, you had?
I had 45, but
45.
We had some people come in and add to my cart, so it's over that now.
So it's how many?
It's over that now. I'm not sure about individual titles, but there were about a half dozen extra books
Norris?
put on my cart.
I haven't got an exact count. It's probably like 20 books that I pulled based on
20.
state criteria and going through them. I do have a question, if I can ask. When Trustee Cole and Johnson came in, they added books to our cart that were not from the juvenile section and that have already been challenged and put behind the desk. And I don't think those should be subject to this review.
Were they in YA?
No, they were adult books.
They shouldn't be there then. Which I would imagine there'll be some mistakes in this process. I had no intent of pulling adult books, did you? So put them back on the shelf.
Kelly, how many books did you have?
I have 11.
11.
One of them was added by the board when they came on Arbor Day.
Okay, so that gives us about 80 books, 87 or so.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried. If y'all can get that out within the next couple of days, then we'll have a month to be looking at them.
Can I just say something real quick? Tommy, you referred to the Age Appropriate Materials Act and that it is for schools, but that was actually brought up by our law director in the letter that he gave us, that it contains language which may be helpful. So I assumed he wanted us to consider that. And that's all.
I think it is helpful because we do have children's books in there.
Next item on the agenda is C, memorandums of understanding with the cities. I have requested the law director to start drafting that. Legal paperwork like that usually isn't done quickly. So as soon as he gets that to us, I'll distribute that to the members. We can be taking a look at it and give input and all that. But my understanding of his process is he'll be reaching out to the city managers of each of the municipalities. And I think he's using a lot of the history too that we have and trying to put that into a document form. So, any questions on that?
Shane, if it's any help, I have all the MOEs from, I don't know, Matthew and I worked on. I have a book like this.
Okay.
For every year, so if you guys need to look at
Yeah,
that,
if
I have it.
you say it's a thick book?
It's about, like that.
Okay. I was thinking emailing, but that might be a
Oh,
burden
no,
on
no,
you.
no, no.
Okay.
And is that between
Yeah.
the
All
regional
the
library,
cities, all the
regional library?
cities, and the regional library, and it comes to the county.
Is it, now you're talking about the funding, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
MOAs.
We're actually wanting of actual, like contractual agreement between the
Exactly.
county and the cities about who's responsible for what kind of thing.
Right, so
Yeah,
if you
that'll be
need-
a brand new endeavor. We've
Right,
never
but
had
if he
that
needs
before.
that data, I've got it.
All right, thank you, thank you. Under new business, request for executive session with the law director. If you would, get out your calendars, please. I am assuming that if it is okay with the members, we need to pick a date that we can, then we'd have a motion. And if we got a second, we would discuss actually doing it. But, we need to have an executive session with the law director to deal with some personnel issues. And I think maybe a lot of what we discussed here tonight can be settled with that. So is evenings best for you?
I'm gonna just throw this out there. Anytime after 12 o'clock on Wednesday is fine with me. Other than that, it's gonna be hard for me to make it.
Okay, so like during the day on Wednesdays
After
between
12
noon
o'clock.
and 7, okay? What's the evenings for you,
I'm flexible.
flexible?
I'm pretty flexible.
Really?
It would have to be after 2:30.
Commander?
Just choir practice on Wednesday,
Okay,
church on Sunday.
right. Okay then.
Country song.
So, let's see. How about April 2nd? I know it's a Thursday, Eddie.
Well, I mean, I can make it, it's just, it's easier after 12, because where I work, we shut down at 12 o'clock, and so I don't have to do my job. And
Okay.
so, not that I do it anyway, but.
Could we say Thursday at, is 6 okay with everybody?
Oh, gosh, yeah, that's fine.
6 good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thursday, April 2nd at 6 o'clock. All right.
And would that be here?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we pick a second day also,
Sure.
just in case the law attorney can't do it?
Okay. I'm trying to go around the meeting schedule because he attends the county meetings as well. So let's see, I hate to do it on a Friday.
The 22nd, Wednesday?
Couldn't do it then. We could, how about Tuesday, April 7th?
I'm in
Can't do that?
Florida.
Okay. The 9th is Budget Committee, and I'm assuming that will be a busy meeting. 14th, April 14th,
I'm still out of town.
okay. We're getting far out there at this point. April 21st, that's a Tuesday.
Don't we need to meet before the next board meeting?
Be nice to, but if we can't, we can't.
Well, this is a backup this is a backup
Yeah, this is
date.
just the backup,
Yeah.
just in case.
Shane, I wouldn't be able to be there, but I will have had my knee surgery.
Yeah, I've got that down.
I mean, you could maybe move it out another week. Just give me a little more time to recuperate.
What about
So-
Wednesday the 1st?
There's no other dates in March?
April Fool's Day, that'd be perfect.
That'd be perfect.
That's on a Wednesday.
Is Wednesday a bad day?
Yeah, Wednesdays are hard.
How about Tuesday, the 31st of March?
Okay. Tuesday the 31st?
And that
Can't
be
do
a
that
Friday?
one?
It's my end of month, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
And I
all
work
right.
till like midnight, so.
That's all
What you
right.
wanna do it at midnight?
All right, let's just go ahead and aim for the 2nd, and then we'll reach out to everybody if that doesn't work. All right, so do I have a motion to request the law director to meet on Thursday, April 2nd at 6 p.m.
Make a motion, we meet Thursday, April 2nd at 6 p.m.
Second.
Got a second by Vicky. Any discussion?
Is this just to deal with that one, just personnel issues?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. Just personnel issues.
And is that's just the board, not the,
I'll ask him if they want to attend. I'll ask him if that's all right. I know sometimes in the past, we had a situation where the budget committee was involved in something and other commissioners wanted to be in, and he had told them no, but then he came back later and said maybe they could have, so I'll get a clarification on him.
My wedding is April 2nd.
Oh,
Whoops.
Just, yeah, if you want me to be there, it's not that day.
okay. All right. Let's go for the second. We'll adjust if we need to.
Shane,
I'll
can you
find-
explain to the crowd what an executive?
Okay. An executive session is when we meet with our attorney in private. It's not open to the public. It's legal counsel and legal advice being given by our county attorney on legal questions and stuff that we've got. Thank you. Yeah, good point. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
And that's a Thursday, right?
Yes, sir. All right, the next item that was added was forming a budget committee.
Well, you're chair of the county budget committee, which was so helpful, but I understand we lost some funds, and I think we need to make a preparation for if we don't get those back, what are we gonna do? And I know Susan has her hand on it, and having you here, but I think maybe 3 people, not me, that's not my thing, but somebody else on the committee might have an expertise in that.
All right,
But
so
I'd like you to appoint that committee,
the
so we
suggest,
can start looking before we get in trouble.
all right, the suggestion is myself, Susan, Eddie, you wanna be on that?
Not really.
Charlotte, okay, all right. At least you're honest, buddy, I appreciate that. All right, so, you wanna put that in the form of a
Oh,
motion?
Sure, I make a motion that we have a policy, budget committee. Okay, that's all I have to say about that.
And it, me, Susan, and Charlotte.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Susan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried. The next item was forming a policy committee.
Our manual actually says we're supposed to do that every 3 years, and this is year 4. So that is overdue. We probably need a 3 member committee for that too, which I imagine that's gonna be, both of those committees are gonna be real hard. But anyway, if you could appoint, I make a motion that you appoint 3 board members for a policy committee.
I'll second it.
Who was that, Vicky?
Vicky?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a page full of things that
Okay, all
are
right,
inconsistent with our actions are inconsistent with policy.
okay. So,
You can put me on it.
all right, myself, Vicky, Tina. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no.
The ALA, and it's all online if anybody wants to refer to it. And we don't have any, it gives the impression that we are in support of the ALA, or we're in alignment with that, and I don't think that we can all say that. We're not members of the Association of Christian Librarians.
No, but the state is.
Pardon?
The state is a member of the ALA, the state library. According to the papers it is. It's online. So, yeah, maybe maybe that's incorrect information.
So
Okay.
is this something you're wanting the policy committee to discuss?
I'd
or-
like it, well, we can do that, but I'd
Okay.
like it removed,
Okay.
even before. I mean, We've had several people bring it up, and
Well, I think that'll
just the
give,
wording.
that'll
yes.
probably give Matthew time to research
Yeah.
that.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Next item is minute taker. Eddie, I believe that was you added that
Yeah,
one.
I asked about somebody to take the minutes, and like I said, Tommy, you do a great job. It's just, I really feel like that we need somebody separate to just concentrate on nothing because, and I'm not saying you can't do that. Evidently, you're very good at multitasking, or you couldn't have flew a jet, right? But-
Only been doing it for 3 years, so.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like that we need to have a separate person that's all they do, is just concentrate on taking the minutes of what's going
So
on.
we had reached out, I think, in the beginning, I think the mayor's office volunteered Leanne Tupper, her assistant. I think I brought that up at one of the meetings, and I mean, I could reach back out to her if you want to put that in the form of a motion, see if
Yeah,
you're still
let's put that,
interested in
I
doing
wanna
it.
put that in the form of a motion. I'll make a motion that we reach out to the who you were talking about, Leanne,
Okay.
and.
And she may not want to do it anymore.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
We'll just reach out and ask.
It's just, I just feel like it would be beneficial to everybody.
We have a second.
No.
Second by Charlotte. Any discussion? Go ahead.
The library board bylaws, not policy, the bylaws of the library board states that there is, the secretary is a officer position that's elected by the board.
Oh, really?
And they shall keep true and accurate account of all proceedings of the board meetings, and including have custody of the minutes and other records of the board and all that. So that is a bylaw that one of the board members is over the minutes.
How
Okay.
can bylaws
Now,
be
whether-
changed? I'm sorry, I spoke out. I didn't wait.
And there is a policy, there is a way to amend the bylaws, and that is, where's the bylaw amendment? Amendments. The bylaws may be amended, by a majority vote of the trustees of the board at a regular meeting, providing that notice of the amendment was given at a preceding regular meeting
Yeah.
of the board.
That's-
So you-
That comes out of Robert's Rules of Orders,
So
actually.
you have to
Okay.
make an
And it was added
change.
today, so what we can do then, Eddie, is we can add this to next month's agenda.
Well, can we have a bylaw written, not
Yeah.
a motion? I would like to have a bylaw presented, not a motion to
Okay.
have somebody different. It needs to be a formal
Right.
bylaw.
Change of the
Who it's
bylaws.
gonna be, how it's gonna do.
Okay.
It will have to be written in that form, then presented at the next meeting, and then voted on at a following meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's to do the minutes, and the secretary then has no further responsibility, is that what?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We'd have to see how the bylaw was written.
And who
what
has
the secretary,
responsibility
how
for
you
the
would amend
minutes.
those officers.
Good.
Because you could probably put somebody and then turns them over to the secretary or something, you know, but
Right.
you just have to
Okay.
adjust the bylaw.
So we'll bring that up at the next meeting.
Yeah.
All right. Item E, Executive Director.
I don't know. The capacity of that, I don't know what that would look like or how it would look. Somebody, I just feel like sometimes that we need, I don't know how I wanna word this. Let me just pull that. Let me just go ahead and pull that for now.
Okay.
Let me think on that.
All right. Next item, I think I got everything, my scribbling. Director reports. Bryce.
Highlights.
Yes, ma'am. Please, thank you.
Well, the most fun thing I included a picture. I was asked to read at Rossville Elementary. It was Read Across America, and I got to read to the 4th and 5th grade kids. Yeah.
I got to go too. That's pretty fun.
Did you? Yeah, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. That was my second time getting to do that, and it was a lot of fun because I'm kind of decently related to Skylar too. She's down the librarian there, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah. And I did send Susan. I did send a thank you to Dr. Parrott. So yeah.
Thank you. Clinton?
We got a a really cool partnership coming up with the Tennessee Holocaust Commission. They're bringing their Wings of Hope program to our teen space at the end of the month. And we've also got a local author speaking at the library tomorrow night. He's going to be giving his Building Happy Families presentation. I'm going to the TNLA conference in April and serving on a panel for access and patron services.
Can I ask a question
Go ahead.
here? How many teens do you think you'll get at this Holocaust presentation? And
well-
are parents or adults allowed to come?
Normally that is a teen-only space.
Okay.
And we get, like, on if we get all of our normal teens in there, she has around 30-ish
Oh, that's
kids
great. Okay, that's
on
great.
Wednesday afternoon. Yeah.
You've got a big group.
We started feeding, we started feeding them and
Well.
they secret.
If you feed them, they will come.
Yes, every time.
Norris.
I have two general announcements just to invite people. We're hosting another social dance at the Norris Middle School for all ages on March 26th from 6:30 to 8. The last one went really well, so y'all are invited to come. If you like to dance, I'm not a dancer.
Is this like square dancing for older folks or the jitterbug for real old folks?
So last time we had people who had never danced before, and then we had some pros that used to go dancing like all the time. So it's like there is beginner dance moves for people to learn, but then you can just free dance if you'd like. So bring a partner.
Clogging, buckboard.
I think they did swing, and then some salsa, and then some square as well.
Do you get a lot of the kids
Ballroom
there?
dancing.
It's mostly adults at that.
Oh, mostly adults, great.
Yeah, because I understand that Norris used to do a dancing program at the community center, and that went away, and pretty much everybody that came in was like, we used to do this all the time. I'm glad it's back. So I was like,
Yeah, it used to be every Friday night.
that was an accident. I'm happy they're coming though. Our annual Easter egg hunt is scheduled for March 31st. We have 2 sessions. It's a story time and then the Easter egg hunt. The first one's from 1 to 2 and the second one's from 2:30 to 3:30.
That's on the 31st?
It's a Tuesday. And then Kelsey and myself are doing a presentation on our Pokemon Club at the Tennessee State Library Association Conference in April. And our inventory was scanned and completed. What we're doing now is looking at our spreadsheet from what we got from that, and then seeing if anything needs to be fixed in the catalog, seeing if any books need to be mended that we pulled off the shelf, things like that. Making sure that our numbers for how many books our system says is in the catalog is actually in the catalog.
How's Comcast? Still bad, huh?
I hate Comcast.
Did
If
our
you wanna
IT
put that in the-
Did our IT department kind of take over that battle for a little while with you all?
So it's kind of like a 4-way battle between Comcast and then IT, Catherine Kleehammer, who is also very angry at Comcast, and myself. They got our contract signed, and we've been promised an upgrade to fiber when it comes to Norris. Right now, what we're working on is a credit towards our account for all of the overpayment that we've done. And that seems to be the sticking point and why I had to put in the budget amendment, because our communications line is going to get overdrawn if they keep charging us $300 and $400 a month.
That's what they're charging me too, Kimberly.
Talk to Catherine.
I will, sorry.
She
Sorry.
seems very displeased in her emails to Comcast. So we're working on it, but
You talking about Catherine in purchasing?
yeah.
Okay, good,
Yeah,
good,
because she
good.
facilitates contracts,
Yep,
and
yep.
before the contract was up, I emailed her and I was like, hey, our contract's about to be up, and then we contacted the Comcast rep, and we kind of got ghosted for a few months. And and that's when IT got pulled in as well. So it's been a long, long process.
Susan, if you would make a note when we start having these budget committee meetings to discuss going over stuff like that.
Yep.
Maybe we can help in that battle.
So if you need an official comment on my opinion on Comcast, it's not good.
I think we got it. I think we understand.
We got it.
All right, Rocky Top.
Yes, we just celebrated the City of Rocky Top Arbor Day. We do it every year for the city. We gave away trees, and we had probably closer to 60 people in attendance. We gave away goodie bags and a white pine seedling to all the kids and all the teachers. We still have trees available, so please come get some pines. I have white pines. Please come get some before they die. Pretty please.
How many you got?
Probably about 100 left.
Okay.
I had 200. And I probably have about 100 seedlings left, so please
So
come
you're
get
gonna-
trees.
Is that how you're funding your retirement? You're gonna
Right,
start
I'm gonna
paper
sell
mill
trees
about
on the
40
side.
years?
I might have to. What else? The quarterly cookbook club is a big, huge hit, and I would love for you guys to come. We're doing Easter brunch.
Are you
this
cooking?
month.
Are you cooking
We all
for it?
cook and bring.
Okay.
Yes, it's a.
That was my
quarterly-
question to you.
Yes, I am cook. I always cook. Yeah, but everybody cooks and comes, and we would love to have you come. That's on the 30th. You don't care about the rest of this. Completed, submitted the budget. I've done the review for the state. We've started planting the garden. We have spring onions and lettuces in, and we're about to start planting the rest of it. And we
Okay.
ordered all our stuff for summer reading. Becky and I signed up for trainings, and that's it.
Okay, what is Charge and Chill?
Charge and Chill is my teen program that we
It's
do
a
on
teen
Wednesdays.
program.
Yeah, that's, although I technically have made all my programs kind of all ages because I don't want to, like, a lot of programming, like, mom can't leave this one at home. Teens are different because usually I get the teens on their own. But I don't so much in Rocky Top because they can't walk from Lake City to me safely, you know what I mean? So for me, my teen program, Charge and Chill, now at Rocky Top, kind of includes little brothers, little sisters, kind of everybody.
Okay.
And they come, and it's just a Wednesday afternoon program where they cook, they do crafts. Stephanie does all sorts of different stuff.
Is UT still involved with your gardening program?
Absolutely, yep. We partnered with them when we initially put it in, and then we're still in consultation with the UT Master Gardeners. Yvonne is my lead UT Master Gardener. Yeah, she's amazing this year. But I'm a little proud of us because we're doing a lot of it on our own these days, which I've learned a whole lot, and hopefully we've taught a whole lot of people a whole lot about it since we've had it.
Has everybody on the board seen it?
Who's seen my garden?
Yeah, it's incredible what they put together.
Not only are there free vegetables, but you can learn about gardening.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's all of it. Hopefully. That's the goal.
I do have a question for you about that,
About the garden?
about the watering situation.
You really want to ask me about that?
No, I mean,
They said they are still refusing to let me use my water on the side of the, yeah, they locked it. Please, Shane, talk to
So-
them. Because, what.
that's why I'm asking,
Thank
because
you.
last year toward
Yeah,
the
they
fall, we had
still
talked
are
about
saying
that.
no. They suggested a rain barrel, but I don't have gutters on my building.
Right,
There are none.
right.
Right, so I can't use a rain barrel, and I've begged them. I was like, I'll use money out of my county budget if there's an overage. If, like, initially when we first put the garden in, we probably didn't use a whole lot of water that month because it was a brand new garden. But we were donated a irrigation system. So I only need it to run an hour a day, like we can keep
So-
it locked the
so-
rest of the time.
So the issue is you have access to water, but they've got it cut off.
Yes, the
for
city won't allow me
garden
access to water,
specific.
correct.
Okay.
So we've been trying to do it 100 other ways, but I just don't understand. We gave away over 200 pounds of produce last summer.
Well, let me get with Mayor. on
Please.
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to be rational, like, I'm not trying to make them pay a fortune, I
I
will pay the
understand,
difference.
we kind of had a conversation
Yeah.
about that last fall.
Yeah, I
And,
just.
Do
because
you
we
not
don't have
make
the
up a water
homeless-
bill? Do you have a water bill?
They pay the water bill.
Ah, I I see.
Yes,
See,
they
that's-
pay the water bill.
that's
The
the-
county pays everything else, but they pay the water bill. And that's why I offered to pay the overage, like, because they asked us to do it, and then we did it. We got it down under $200 for a month. And my assistant director, Becky, lives in Rocky Top, and hers is like $150 for a single person in their house. And we got ours under $200, and we were like, thought they were gonna be like, good for you, you did so great, and they put a lock on it and won't let us access it. And
All right, so you're gonna take care of that?
I'll take care of that.
All right.
In fact, I'll see when the next city council meeting is, and I'll bring it.
Next week.
All right.
thank you.
Regional.
That's my husband, he's on the council.
I don't have anything to add, Commissioner, but Susan Vaselli finished her recertification to the state library and all that stuff. She gets her certificate. Appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Everybody else.
Something we all need to do,
Absolutely.
recertify. I've done it. We didn't, oh, cause
I
you came in
I had to
new.
renew.
Yeah, do you all
Yeah.
know about that, the recertification?
From what Matthews,
Has everybody
I'm
done
saying
it?
yeses and nos, so Matthew, you wanna
Yeah, you might want to,
remind everybody?
it needs to be done.
all right, announcements, next meeting will be Thursday, April the 9th at 5:30. Budget committee starts at 4, so I will try my best to, well, everybody will be in this room anyway, so just be in this room, and as soon as I can get them, everybody to be quiet on budget committee, we'll start the library board meeting.
I have two things, Shane, I
Go
will
ahead.
not be here next month, I'll be in Florida,
Okay,
doing the Norris Bulletin.
okay.
I'll be in Florida doing it. The other thing is, could we verify the process now that we're gonna do on these books are, like, Tommy and I going into Norris and look through the books with Norris, are the
So,
two,
my understanding was, according to Terry's motion, the librarians are gonna send us a
okay,
list.
so that's the first thing.
And we will
Get
have the
list.
opportunity between now and next month to do our own research on these books.
Okay,
Then we can come back at next month's meeting and maybe sort them down more from there. Was that your intent?
Yes, cause I'm
Okay.
assuming we can't contact each other in between time, right? We
Yeah.
can't-
Well, you can't
yeah, we
deliberate.
can.
Yeah.
Can you voice your opinion, like, since she won't be here, can she voice to everybody her opinion on books or
Uh,
not? Or do you need to research that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let me research that. I don't wanna
What do they call that? A proxy, I'm talking of.
Yeah.
proxy.
In the manual, it addresses that, and I think you can do that, but you have to do it in advanced or something, so I'll.
Yeah, you can give her vote to somebody, but I'm saying like,
And it's on a specific issue that they have to,
well, no, it just says any voting matter. I'm looking at
Right.
it right here, because I will also not be at the April
Okay.
meeting.
What, do you wanna put this off for 2 months? I mean, I don't wanna go too far out, cause the extension, I don't wanna wear out our welcome with the
Right, that's
Secretary
why
of
I'm
State's
saying,
office.
can I like email it, I can review
Okay.
the list and say it and just email
Okay,
I don't have to deliberate anything with
I got
anybody
you.
or
That's-
expect a response.
Right.
That's your
Like,
opinion.
that's
I mean,
my
it's not like you're discussing
Now-
with somebody trying to come
what,
up with a conclusion.
what we've done before is we would put out, please do not respond to
Okay,
this
put
email,
that
so
in
it was
there?
clear
Okay.
that it wasn't
Yes,
deliberation.
it's just my opinion.
Yeah, we
Okay.
could probably do
I
that.
don't know if they're allowed to do this, but if they would get that list out to us like within a week, and we took like 2 weeks to look at it, and then maybe somebody on this board could volunteer to combine it. Or, you know, like, and then the books that we agree on, that's a done deal.
Right,
That's
combine the
easy.
ones that we
Have in common.
have in common that we might think needs looking at,
A closer
and then
look.
the rest of them can be put back away.
doesn't it seem like you sending out your opinion on the book, that's leading to that decision? I think that's the violation of the Sunshine Law. Whenever you do that outside of the public being able to see which books I like and which books Shane likes.
I think it's just gathering information. There won't be any discussion or decisions made. There won't be any deliberation. It'll just be someone collecting information that we'll discuss at the next meeting.
I'll ask the law director and get his opinion on that. I understand your all's efforts, what you're trying to do, I appreciate it.
The thing that's not a problem is the librarians get us the list.
Mhm.
And whether we make an opinion on online or not, that's the.
All right.
Because we're not allowed to virtually attend, correct?
Right. Well, so there's a new bill in the state legislature this year too that's loosening up the restrictions on that. The current one is you could do it, but you had to jump through so many hoops ahead of time in order to get it approved that it wasn't worth it. So now they're trying to simplify it, and if it passes, of course, it won't pass till after July, but anyway, yeah. Do you have anything else, Matthew? Okay. So April 9th, 5:30, this room be the next meeting. Any other announcements? Commissioner Allen, did you want to speak, sir? I put you off earlier in the meeting.
I think I'll hold my remarks.
Okay.
Kind of late right now, so.
Appreciate it.
People have lunch, so they won't be here anyway.
Okay.
Thank you for
All right. If no further business come before the board, we are adjourned.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you 3 times.
That's all right.
already.